Why would you come to Lisbon, Portugal and make this mistake?
What?
Josh and I travel a lot, and it's always tricky in a new city if you don't know anyone to make sure you avoid the tourist traps and mistakes. The same goes for when you move somewhere new.
We want to experience the city, not be the obvious tourist or newcomer.
We've been living in Portugal for almost 5 years now, and we're here to tell you the things you can do so you don't look ridiculous.
We're also going to talk about how to avoid a massive mistake that unfortunately too many people make.
Before we get to that number one mistake, let's talk about your outfit. No, seriously, it's one of the minor mistakes you can make, but how's that saying go about the leopards and its spots?
What? Are you getting your animal sayings messed up? I think you just mean be a chameleon.
Okay, yeah, that. So wear something like this, not like this. You can pack comfortably and not wear those pants that zip off and become shorts.
In all honesty, even when it's hot, a lot of guys still wear pants. It's okay if you're in shorts, but just know that most Portuguese tend to wear pants.
We also know that you want comfort on your feet, but please, no chacos. Footwear is important though, and a common mistake people make. It can get slippery and the hills are no joke.
Which is another thing to prepare for, the hills. Be prepared mentally and physically to walk hills and take stairs.
But in all seriousness, when it comes to clothing, go with breathable layers and comfortable but durable footwear. Also remember, if you're wearing a hat, you'll want to take it off when you go into a restaurant. That's the biggest thing you'll need to know to make sure that you don't offend anyone.
Well, speaking of restaurants, a mistake to avoid, or at least something to be aware of, is how tipping is viewed culturally.
Remember that it isn't a tipping culture and you don't want to disturb the ethos, so just leaving a little change behind is plenty. You technically don't have to leave anything, but whatever you do, don't leave more than 10%. Anything you leave though will be appreciated.
Also, when it comes to restaurants, a massive mistake is not researching where to go. If you just walk around and stumble into a place, it could be hit or miss. It doesn't have to be loads of research, but doing some will ensure that you get good quality food and not get ripped off in the touristy areas. Those restaurants tend to be more expensive and the quality of food is lower, so just watch out for that.
Even an app like The Fork will help. And no, this isn't a sponsored video for The Fork, we just like the app. And that app, Too Good To Go, also a good one.
Now, just like you want to do some research on restaurants, you'll also want to do some research on where to get a good pastel de nata. It's a mistake thinking that you have to go to Belém.
Of course, that's where it originated from, but depending on how much time you have and what else you're doing, it might not be worth it to wait in the insane lines that are there. You can find amazing pastéis de nata elsewhere.
Now, places like Castro and Manteigaria are great options. Make sure you get it warm and put a little cinnamon on top there.
We're getting to the biggest mistake, but we want to sprinkle in some other little mistakes you don't want to make in Lisbon before we unpack the worst thing you could do.
An obvious mistake you could make when traveling anywhere is not having your phone connected so you can call a car, use your maps, find restaurants, and more. Or even worse, paying through the nose because of your provider's daily rate or roaming charges. Enter Airalo and their eSim plans.
You know you need your phone, but you probably don't know how easy it is to get set up before you land. That way you don't have to think about getting a SIM card in the airport or trying to connect to spotty Wi-Fi. You're literally good to go once the wheels touch down.
When we travel to countries our phones won't work, the US actually being one of those places, we use Airalo. They have an easy to use app and their Discovery Plus eSIM you install once and get global coverage. You have full service so you can call, text, and use data. It's literally one eSIM that's good for 365 days so you can travel and focus on important things without having to worry about staying connected throughout the entire year.
We use Airalo and you should too. Download their app by clicking the link in the description section and use our discount code EXPATS3 for $3 off your first eSIM to get your Discover Plus eSIM today.
Now earlier we talked about the hills and proper footwear so you could walk all of these hills. It would be a mistake not to stop at the various miradouros and really take it all in. Take your time and enjoy the view and the atmosphere here.
Now it's your turn to spot the mistake. Some we've already talked about, but some will be new, so let's see if you can find them. Yeah, see, that just doesn't look very fun dragging that along. Oof, you don't want to end up in this accommodation. Looks like it's old and it won't have air conditioning. I hope she's wearing sunscreen. Stairs, stairs, stairs. Watch out for the mini metro stops that don't have an elevator. Oh, he's on his phone. How about you enjoy the music like this couple? That doesn't look fun going upstairs in those shoes. It might be hard to walk around in those all day because of the hills and the stairs. What's this guy selling? These guys aren't legally allowed to be selling knockoffs here, so you should pass on this. This poor guy had to step into the road because people were taking up the whole sidewalk. Just be aware of the people around you and make sure if you stop, you step off to the side. If you're gonna do a bike tour or get on an electric scooter, safety is really important, so you might wanna wear a helmet.
Okay, let's get to the biggest mistake that you want to avoid when you come to Lisbon. It was hard to actually choose one, so this is more of a combined mistake that loads of people make, and that's the location of your accommodation.
Did you know that there are a lot of ALs in Chiado and Bairro Alto, but there's also a lot of noise and old buildings?
So what does that mean? The nightlife is strong here, so you'll hear music and people all night long. A big mistake people make is booking their accommodation in this area because it's central and there are a lot of options.
The issue is, it's probably not your scene. You'll have old narrow streets that your Uber can't get to. You'll have old apartments with no air conditioning and no elevator, yet you're on the 5th floor. So if it's hot, you have to open your windows, but remember there's noise outside.
You'll have Portuguese who live here and get really mad at you looking around and stopping on a dime without seeing if you're running into anyone.
Or taking a picture of them hanging their laundry outside.
The reality is, where you choose to stay will make or break your time in Lisbon, and these two neighborhoods are not great. It would be a mistake to stay here.
But also an area that would be a mistake to stay in is Alfama. You've probably read all the amazing blogs about this neighborhood and how you can get the true Portuguese experience, but that has changed.
The neighborhood no longer gives you the true Portuguese experience because it's also overrun with ALs and the locals aren't happy about it. It's very hilly, so not the easiest to walk around. It's swarming with tourists not being respectful of people living their day-to-day life.
Overall, it's just not a good place to stay anymore, so don't make the mistake of being here.
On a lighter note though, don't be afraid to take the metro. Just be aware that many stations don't have elevators. So if you have rolling suitcases, you might hit stairs. You also want to be careful dragging your bag along the cobblestones, as that's an easy way to break a wheel. Just go with an Uber or a Bolt.
You can't go to Lisbon and not experience fado music. So don't make the mistake on missing out on that, and don't forget to get your Jinja fix. Make sure you stay connected with Airalo by using the QR code on the screen or the link in the description section below. You can download the app and use code EXPATS3 for your discount.
What mistakes have you made in Lisbon? Comment about your experience below, and you gotta catch us talk about Porto and the biggest mistakes video there, which is right here. Now, let's get moving.